Today I'm going to show you my top 10 favorite hard use everyday carry knives, and there's going to be no like prerequisites for any knife to be on this list here. There's no price restrictions, no like availability requirements. I mean, some of these knives are going to be expensive and might even be discontinued. So let's do this. Hey, how you doing? My name is Jay. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Now, consider clicking on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. First, I really need to go ahead and give credit where credit is due, because I was talking with a subscriber last week who actually brought up the idea for this video. So, Nate, thank you very much. We should probably define what I consider to be a hard use knife. Now, it's going to be something with a thicker blade stock, like around 4 millimeters or so, like you see here on this Kizer Escort. Now, the pivot ideally should have washers inside, like the Southern Grind Spider Monkey, not ball bearings. Because, well, and you all know that washers can operate with little to no lubrication. You know, they can tolerate some dirt and still function pretty good. You know, the oil is going to make the deployment nice and smooth, but there's a trade-off because it's going to attract debris. Most of my hard use knives, they're going to have a back lock, like on this Buck Ranger 112. I mean, sometimes it'll have a frame lock or maybe even a button lock. Rarely, though, will my hard use knives have a liner lock. Blade steel. Okay, now there isn't any one type of blade steel that I think is the best for hard use knives. I mean, I really do. I like LC200N or, you know, M390, like you see here on this Hogue, because you get the best of both worlds with those steels. I mean, not only do you get good edge retention, but you'll also get that just excellent corrosion resistance. All right, I know, finally, onto the list. We will, as usual, we'll start with number 10 and then work our way up to number 1, which will be my all-time favorite hard-use, everyday carry knife. Every knife that I show you here today, I will make sure and list a link down in the description of where you can go, you know, buy it for yourself. Coming in at number 10, we're going to start out with the Buck 110, and this is a knife. Now there's way too many variants for me to list here. Too many different blade steels, handle materials. I mean, this is it's a classic tank, solid construction. I mean, I could drop this off of a 5-story building and it would be good to go. Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but you get my point. Of course, it features a very strong backlock, and at least on my example, it's going to be the 420 HC blade steel. Super easy to sharpen and touch up. Couple bad things: can't disassemble it, and this is the heaviest knife on the list at about 7.46 ounces. So, you know, that's going to make it pretty much sheath carry only for the most part. Now, at number 9 is a knife that really did not get its fair share of attention for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it's the Kizer Kesmec. This features, of course, it's a 4 millimeter blade stock, so you've got a very, very strong, durable tip there. Check out this thick, like titanium, full titanium construction. So of course that lock bar is going to be pretty beefy as well. Torx number 10 for the pivot and T8 for the body screws. Always nice to see that in hard use knives. Bad thing, it is a ball bearing pivot. Yep, I know. And at number 8 probably has to be, this would be the newest knife on this list, and that of course is the QSP Worker. What I really love about this is that it's got all the stylings of like a traditional folder, and it can be completely disassembled for maintenance. I know deep carry, nice deep carry pocket clip. Unfortunately, no lefty love, but you get the very strong back lock. Now, this does unfortunately feature a ball bearing pivot. I mean, so it gives it really nice action, but for a hard use knife, you know, that's really not all that necessary. Nice change of pace with the blade steel. They used N690 here. Good to see that instead of D2. Number 7 is the Hogue EX03. This is the knife. It features a plunge lock. So you push down the button, obviously, and then it closes and it does have like a backup safety, so it will lock in the open position. You get very, very durable GFN handle, and this is monoblock construction. So yes, it is all just, Hogue says, all one piece. Thick 3.75 millimeter blade stock. 154 cm steel. I know that turns off some of you, but hey, you know, on the good side of that, it is going to be very, very easy to sharpen. Oh, and they also actually it's available in an automatic, so you can tell I really like this knife if I have, you know, both versions. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Spyderco Endura 4. This has just about everything you can ask for in a hard use knife, except for one thing, and it's gonna be that the blade stock thickness. Yeah, it's definitely, you know, it doesn't have the most robust strong tip, but it should be fine for harder use. I mean, on the inside it features bronze washers, very durable FRN scales. I mean, the VG10 is going to be a blade steel, really easy to sharpen and touch up, and of course you get the strong back lock with that boy dent there to make releasing the lock a little bit easier. But I will say this the Stretch 2 has actually been kicking the Endura as of late out of my pocket. I mean, they're very similar in size, but you know, I'm really don't feel comfortable putting this on the list because it's a sprint run. So now, before I show you my top 5, I just have a couple honorable mentions that I just wanted to throw out there, and it's going to be first the Benchmade Griptilian in the with the sheep's foot, or even I meant to grab the full-size Freek, but I grabbed the mini by accident. So just imagine that this is the big one, or the Benchmade, the Freek. I mean, they both, you know, they feature bronze washers, but a couple of reasons why they're not on the list. You know, the blade stock thickness is under 3 millimeters. You know, the scales for the most part are pretty much plastic, and the Omega springs, you know, that's a potential weak spot. Last honorable mention. Now, this is a knife that I'm sure by now, if you've been around, hanging around my channel, you know this is like one of my all-time favorite knives, whether it's hard use or not, and that being the Viper Vox Fortis. So it was really tough to put it as an honorable mention and not on the top 10 list. But, you know, I really want to be honest with myself. So then in turn, I'm being honest with you. M390 blade steel, I mean, 4 millimeter blade stock thickness, full titanium construction. But one of the reasons this did not make the list is it has next to no traction. I mean, these titanium scales are pretty darn slick. And on top of that, there's no jimping, and for a hard use knife, you really should be able to pretty much grip it however and know that it's not going to slip out of your hands. Number 5 is the Cold Steel AD10, 3.9 millimeter blade stock thickness. Of course, you get that very strong, you know, triad lock. It has the bronze washers on the inside, like it should, and just an overall beefy, overbuilt construction. And I mean, this is the second heaviest knife on this list at darn near almost 7 ounces, 6.96. But really, you could honestly, I mean, maybe even substitute with any one of these. I mean, because they all feature, you know, that the same triad lock. I mean, these are just going to have a little bit thinner of a blade stock at a 3.3 millimeters, but they can all, I mean, since they're all running on washers, they can all function with little to no oil inside, which I personally love, because that just means less potential for like the buildup of debris. And number 4 is going to be the Chris Reeve Knives full-size Sebenza 21, and there's quite a few reasons I decided to place it here. I mean, it's got the thick titanium scales, so of course it's going to have that very thick lock bar. Bronze washers, as it should have on the inside. Super easy to disassemble. You do have, though, like a thinner blade grind behind the edge, and that is going to be there so it's able to handle like multiple resharpenings and still have very useful life out of that edge. Now, some might consider this too expensive to use hard, but let me say this: Chris Reeve Knives, I mean, all of those services that they offer just to maintain this knife, why wouldn't you use it? All right, now here I started having to make some really tough decisions, but at number 3 I decided to place the Zero Tolerance ZT0562 Ti for the titanium version. CPM 20 CV blade steel, fantastic stuff. 4 millimeter blade stock thickness. I honestly did not realize it was that thick. So yeah, full titanium construction. And these thumb studs are really not even thumb studs at all, because I used to be able to deploy the blade this way. Now it's kind of hard for me to do that. But anyway, these studs, they're actually, you can see, like a blade stop for stability. So this knife, oh yeah, very sturdy. KVT ball bearing pivot on the inside, and yes, this is a little bit heavy at 5.4 ounces or 153 grams. Now another knife you could also put in that discussion is the now discontinued 0566, because it has a lot of the same features here that you have here. And number 2 is going to be a knife that you have seen probably many times before on my channel, the LionSteel TM1. This incredibly thick blade stock. I mean, you're looking at 4.6 millimeters. I know you get that very strong convex edge that LionSteel likes to use. This is very durable monoblock construction. So this handle is all one single piece. The split back design of this back spring, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Oh, yep, right about there. Yeah, it's got like it's a split design. What that does is it makes this back lock just super easy to operate. I mean, you barely push down on it and you can see that blade is ready to drop closed. Ball bearing pivot. Yeah, I mean, it gives it great action, but maybe not the best choice for a hard to use knife, which is why this is at number 2. You're probably thinking, holy cow, Jay, that LionSteel TM1, that was number 2. I would love to see what your number 1 is. Well, here it is. The Spyderco Manix 2 backlock, now discontinued. I know. So bummed about that, because this has just all the benefits, I mean all the benefits of like the classic Manix 2 blade, but a thicker blade stock at 3.75 millimeters. And it has a strong and one of probably the second easiest backlock to operate, you know, right behind the LionSteel TM1. 4.4 ounces. And did I say it's discontinued? Yeah. So hey, I showed you mine. Let's see yours. What does your top 10 list, your top 5 lifts, top 3, however many that you want to put down in the comments section, what does your list of hard use knives, your favorite ones, what does that look like? Hey, now if you enjoyed this video and you got like any value from it, would you let me know by just leaving one of these a thumbs up, and don't forget to click on subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. You guys take care. See ya.